Welcome to Pink Blade.
Here, we don't just watch stories.
We step inside them.
Today, we're diving deep into one chapter only.
We are focusing our lens entirely on Bridgerton, Season 1, Episode 3, Art of the Swoon. And I have to say, if the first two episodes were the appetizer, the polite conversation, the setting at the table.
Right.
This episode is where someone finally flips the table over.
It really is. This is the moment the show stops, politely introducing itself and starts demanding you pay attention.
To the mechanics.
To the mechanics of the world, yes. It transitions from that charming little setup, the fake courtship scheme.
The ruse.
The ruse, exactly. It moves from that into the genuine bruising emotional and social consequences of that scheme.
The ruse hits a wall. But before we even get into the plot, we have to talk about the look.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I was rewatching this last night, and it struck me how not historical it looks. And I don't mean the costumes, I mean the actual air in the room.
In the light?
The light. It doesn't look like Wolf Hall or some grim, serious period piece.
You're picking up on something very specific there. You're noticing the work of cinematographer Jeffrey Jur.
Okay.
He came into this project with a very specific mandate. He calls it a world that is lifted.
Lifted. Okay, let's unpack that. Because usually when we talk about prestige TV, especially period dramas, we're talking about darkness.
Right. Gloom.
We're talking about candlelight that's so dim you can barely see the actor's expressions. You're squinting.
Exactly. The trend for the last decade has been grit. If it's serious, it has to be dark. Jur went the complete opposite direction. He wanted an antidote to dark television. He described his visual language as clear-eyed, colorful, without being garish.
It feels like a fable or a fairy tale.
That's the intention. It's not a documentary. It's a heightened reality. But, and here is where it gets fascinating from a technical standpoint, this lifted look isn't just about turning on more lights.
Right.
It's about how they light the night.
This is the virgin blue thing, isn't it? I've read a bit about this in the production notes.
Yes, the virgin blue gel. It's his secret weapon. So normally, when you shoot a night scene in a movie, you use standard blue gels on your lights.
And it looks like movie moonlight.
It looks like movie moonlight, a bit steel gray, a bit cold. Jur didn't want that. He wanted, and this is his phrase, romantic moonlight.
So what makes moonlight romantic instead of just, dark?
It's a cocktail. This specific gel, virgin blue, it isn't just blue. It's a mix of magenta, purple, cyan, and this is the crucial part, green.
Green. In a beauty shot. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
It does.
Usually green light makes actors look like they're, seasick or undead.
That's the risk. But when you mix it with magenta in these very specific proportions, something magical happens. The green cancels out the ruddiness in skin tones, and the magenta adds this pearlescent quality.
Oh, wow.
It makes the skin glow. It creates a heightened reality where the night feels magical rather than dangerous or ominous.
So subconsciously, as a viewer, I'm not thinking it's late, they should go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking everything is beautiful and anything is possible.
Precisely. It's a visual cue that we are in a fairy tale. But, and this is the critical tension of the entire episode, that bright pastel fairy tale aesthetic is a mask.
It's a complete mask. Because if you actually listen to what the characters are saying, underneath that beautiful virgin blue glow, the social reality is absolute grimdark.
It is brutal. We have to talk about the central conflict of this episode, the marriage mart.
The mart.
We see the women not just as participants, but as commodities. Straight up.
There is a line of dialogue here that I think is the darkest line in the whole show so far. It's from Lord Burbrook.
Burbrook.
He's arguing about his right to marry Daphne, and he says, "When I am buying a horse, I do not negotiate with the horse."
That line just stops you cold.
It does, but I want to push on this a bit. Burbrook is presented as a buffoon, right? He's the comic relief villain.
Yeah.
Is this just him being a jerk, or is there more to it?
It's so easy to dismiss him as an idiot, and he is, but we shouldn't dismiss the line.
Okay.
If we look at the source analysis on conceptual meaning, this is a linguistic concept, he isn't just making a clumsy, cruel metaphor. He is speaking the literal text of the society.
So in his mind, the transaction is identical. He's not just comparing it.
The conceptual meaning of negotiation here requires two equal parties. By using the noun horse, he is stripping Daphne of legal and intellectual personhood.
Right.
He isn't saying she's like a horse. He is saying that in the structure of this transaction, her agency is equivalent to that of livestock.
A horse doesn't get a say in who rides it.
It does not. And that is terrifying because, legally speaking, in 1813, under the laws of coverture, he's not entirely wrong.
He isn't. He is technically legally correct. The Bridgertons are trying to dress this whole process up as romance and love matches, but Berbrook is the only one honest enough to say what it actually is.
A sale.
A sale. And that contrasts so sharply with another conversation we get in this episode, which is all about class.
Oh, the one between Anthony and Sienna.
Yes, his opera singer lover. Sienna says, "Every woman is not afforded such gallant protection," referring to how the Bridgerton men protect Daphne.
And Anthony replies, "Every woman is not a lady."
Oof. That line does so much heavy lifting.
It really does.
It's a slap in the face. Every woman is not a lady.
It reveals the rigid hierarchy of this world. Protection and chivalry, they aren't universal virtues. They are resources.
Scarce resources.
Scarce resources reserved only for ladies, capital L, upper class. Anthony is telling the woman he sleeps with, the woman he claims to care for, that she is structurally excluded from his protection.
So on the one hand, you have Daphne, who was a lady, being treated like a horse by Berbrook. And then you have Sienna, who is a woman, being told she doesn't qualify for protection as a lady by Anthony.
It feels like a trap no matter where you are on the ladder.
It is a trap. And this brings us right to the emotional stakes for Daphne, because she is supposed to be the diamond of the season. She has all the privilege in the world, but she is failing.
She's failing. The ruse with Simon was supposed to bring suitors, and instead it's just brought Simon and Berbrook.
And she has that incredibly vulnerable moment with Simon where she finally drops the mask. She just breaks.
Yes.
She says, "You have no idea what it is to be a woman, to have one's entire life reduced to a single moment."
That phrase, reduced to a single moment, that is the key.
It's everything.
She is expressing the terror of having no transferable value. If she fails to secure a husband in this single moment, this season, she views herself, and more importantly, society views her as worthless.
It's not vanity, and I think that's a misconception people have about the genre sometimes, that these girls are just shallow and want a pretty wedding.
No, it is survival. It is social validity. Without that match, she effectively ceases to exist as a person of consequence. Her future is nothing.
Which is why this episode, Art of the Swoon, is such a massive turning point for the whole story.
A huge one.
Because the ruse, that fake dating scheme, has officially hit a wall.
It's hit a wall because it worked too well.
It worked too well on them.
On them, exactly. Not on the town.
And so Simon pulls the plug.
He does. He sees the emotional danger. They're getting too close. He's feeling things he doesn't want to feel.
Right.
And he knows he cannot, or believes he cannot, or simply will not give her what she needs, which is marriage and children.
So what does he do? He employs a classic narrative trope.
He does. Break her heart to save her.
The noble idiot.
A noble idiot, exactly. He decides to be cruel to be kind. He tells her it's over, that she should focus on the new arrival.
And this is the major plot engine of the episode.
Yeah.
The arrival of Prince Friedrich of Prussia.
Prince Friedrich?
Can we just talk about the prince for a second? Because in a lesser show, the other guy would be a jerk. He'd be arrogant or stupid.
Absolutely. He'd be an obstacle. But Friedrich is perfect.
He's actually perfect.
He is. He's handsome, he's kind, he's incredibly wealthy, he's actual royalty, and he seems to genuinely like Daphne for who she is.
He is the anti-Simon. Simon is this unavailable, dark, complicated, brooding figure. Friedrich is open, light, and simple.
And that creates a genuine triangle. It's not a simple choice between a good guy and a bad guy.
No.
It forces Daphne to switch strategies. She has to move from fake dating to Operation Jealousy.
But with a real endgame.
Well, with a real endgame of marriage for her survival.
Yeah.
And it raises the stakes for Simon. He is no longer just helping a friend find a suitor.
No, now he's a spectator.
He is now watching the woman he desires be courted by a man who can give her everything he refuses to give.
It's torture for him.
It is self-inflicted torture. He's set this in motion.
And this is where Daphne's agency just skyrockets.
Oh, it really shifts.
She stops being the passive participant in Simon's plan. She decides to, if we can borrow Berbrook's unfortunate metaphor, take the reins.
She weaponizes her femininity, specifically through the titular art of the swoon.
This leads us right into the deep dive of the key scenes, because visually, this episode is just stacked with moments that tell the story better than dialogue ever could.
So many.
We have to start with the opening dream sequence.
The dream, it's beautifully disorienting.
It is. You have this dreamy outdoor ball. It's misty. The lighting is surreal. It doesn't look like any set we've actually seen before.
That's intentional. Jeffrey Jur talked about this in interviews. It was meant to be a romantic memory mishmash.
So it's not a real place.
It's not a literal place, no. It combines elements of their past experiences together. You see the light bulbs from the first episode's ball. You see the fireworks, the tree from the park.
It's like her subconscious is remixing her highlights reel with Simon. It's a collage of her feelings.
Exactly. And the lighting, that heavy backlighting and smoke, it creates that non-real feel. Characters just sort of drift in and out like ghosts.
It perfectly represents her internal state shifting. She is moving from, we are friends fooling the town, to,
I am physically desiring this man.
and it ends with that almost kiss.
Which creates the tension that runs through the rest of the entire hour. That dream signals to us, the audience, that friendship is over, at least in Daphne's head.
Which leads us directly to the art gallery scene. Now, I spent some time on Reddit looking at the fan reactions to this specific episode, and people are obsessed with this scene.
The intimate scene.
Yes. They are standing side by side looking at a painting. And their hands, they just barely graze. A brush of the fingers?
This is a brilliant use of the holding hands trope, but it's subverted because they don't actually hold hands.
No.
The camera focuses entirely on the negative space between their fingers, that tiny gap.
Electric. In 2024, touching hands is nothing. In 1813 London, in a public gallery wearing gloves.
It's basically a sex scene. In a world where touching is so forbidding, where gloves are mandatory, this near miss carries the weight of a consummation.
And look at the dialogue during this scene. They are discussing the painting, yes, but they're also discussing the feigned swoon, chapter 6 of the advice book they're reading.
It's a moment of conspiracy. They are intellectual equals here. They are plotting together, a team.
But the physical tension is just completely undermining the business nature of their talk. It's a dual-level conversation.
It is. And fans draw a lot of comparisons here to the 2005 Pride and Prejudice film, the famous hand flex scene with Matthew Macfadyen.
Oh, for sure.
It's that same dynamic of repression breeding passion. The constraint, the rules, that's what makes the micro-movement feel absolutely explosive.
Speaking of explosive, we have to talk about the spoon.
The spoon.
I feel like this inanimate object has its own fan club. It might have its own agent at this point.
It absolutely does, and it deserves it.
So, the scene. They are at a cafe, Gunter's tea shop. Simon is eating an ice, and he licks the spoon, and Daphne just watches.
This is a textbook example of the erotic eating trope, but more importantly, it is a prime example of the female gaze.
We hear that term a lot, female gaze. What does it actually mean in the context of this specific scene?
Usually in cinema, the camera looks at women for men. We see the woman's body through the man's eyes. He is the active looker.
She is the object.
She is the object. Here, the show completely flips that. It prioritizes what Daphne finds attractive. The camera lingers on Simon's mouth, on his hand, on the movement of the spoon, because that is where her attention is fixed. We are seeing him through her eyes.
And the sound design, I went back and listened with headphones. It's
alive.
It's moist. It's very forward in the mix. You hear the suction. It's incredibly intimate.
It is. And the editing plays a huge role here, too. Normally, if a character is staring like that, you cut away quickly to a reaction shot to break the tension.
You do.
Right. But here, the editor holds the shot. Simon maintains eye contact with her. He knows she's watching.
Oh, he knows.
And he's challenging her, and the camera forces us, the audience, to sit in that uncomfortable, charged tension with her. We are trapped in her desire.
It solidifies that her feelings are no longer just strategic. This isn't part of the ruse.
Not at all.
They're physical. And that complication makes the subsequent breakup scene, where he tells her to go for the prince, so much harder to watch.
Which brings us to the climax of the episode. The grand staircase. The fan drop.
A masterpiece of staging. It's a whole opera in about 30 seconds.
It really is.
So Daphne descends the stairs. She's in this stunning white, almost silvery gown. She's going to meet Prince Friedrich, and the whole room stops.
And you have to notice the cinematography again here. It's shot in slow motion, a high frame rate.
Yes.
Jeffrey Jur noted that they used 3 cameras simultaneously to capture every single micro-reaction in the room.
So it's not just about her looking pretty. It's about the event of her arrival.
It's about society reacting. We see Cressida Cowper's face, just curdled with jealousy. We see the Queen's nod of approval. And crucially, we see Simon's devastation. His face just falls.
And then she executes the move. She drops her fan.
The high-class fan trope, a classic.
Prince Friedrich, being the perfect gentleman that he is, immediately bends down to pick it up. And in that moment, Simon realizes he's lost.
But look at what Daphne's doing here. She is executing the very play Simon taught her from their shared book against Simon.
Oh, it's brutal.
It is a performance. She is performing the role of the perfect lady to secure her safety, specifically because Simon refused to offer it to her.
It's heartbreaking because she's winning the game, but she's playing it with a broken heart. You can see it in her eyes.
And she's doing it to survive. It connects right back to that awful horse metaphor. She is negotiating her own sale, but she's doing it on her terms now. She has seized control of the transaction.
I want to pivot to the behind-the-scenes aspects because a world this polished, this heightened, doesn't happen by accident.
No.
We talked about the lighting gel, but the costumes in this episode are also doing so much storytelling.
And causing so much pain.
Right. The reality of the corset. We see the finished product, which is this impossible hourglass silhouette, but the actresses have been very vocal about the physical toll it took.
Phoebe Dynevor, who plays Daphne, talked about having actual cuts and markings on her back from the boning of the corset during this block of filming.
That's awful.
And Nicola Coughlan, who plays Penelope, described taking it off at the end of the day as a bra times 10,000.
Which is such a visceral image.
It is. But there's also the T-Rex arms phenomenon.
The T-Rex arms. What is that?
This is a funny practical detail. Because the costumes are so delicate and handmade, the actresses had to wear these enormous, puffy, protective coats over them between takes, especially if they were eating or drinking.
To protect the gowns.
Right. But the coats were so bulky and the corsets were so restrictive that they literally couldn't move their arms. They had to walk around set with their elbows tucked in like little T-Rexes.
That ruins the immersion a little bit. Just imagining these elegant Regency ladies waddling around like dinosaurs.
It's the glamour versus the reality. But on screen, the design philosophy by the designer Ellen Mirojnick is fascinating. It's historical inaccuracy on purpose.
The necklines.
The necklines are much, much lower than they would have been in 1813. It's the Shondaland touch. It's meant to be sexier, more accessible.
And the color coding is so strict.
Very strict. We see that clearly in this episode. The Bridgertons are always in those muted, powdery blues and silvers and pinks.
Mirojnick calls them whispers of color.
Yes. It signifies old money, class, restraint. You contrast that with the Featheringtons.
It's a visual assault.
Yeah.
Acidic. Citrus yellows, bright oranges, busy florals.
It signals new money. It signals attention-seeking. It tells you everything you need to know about the family's social standing before they even speak a line of dialogue. They are loud.
And speaking of things that are loud and not historically accurate, the music.
Ah, yes.
This episode features a string quartet cover of Bad Guy by Billie Eilish.
Performed by the Vitamin String Quartet.
And it plays during a very specific moment. It's the ball, where Simon is standing on the sidelines, pretending to be annoyed, while all these other men approach Daphne.
It's a brilliant needle drop.
Yeah.
Because lyrically and thematically, it frames Simon as the bad guy of the scenario.
I'm the bad guy, duh.
Exactly. He is the rake. He is the one breaking her heart. He is the one refusing to marry her. He knows he is the villain in her story at that moment, and the music is telling us that.
It bridges the gap. We might not relate to 1813 courting rituals, but we absolutely relate to Billie Eilish. We relate to that feeling of a bad guy messing with your head.
It modernizes the emotion without breaking the visual period setting. It tells the audience, feel this the way you feel a modern breakup. It's a shortcut to the heart.
Now, we talked about the cast's pain with the corsets, but there were some other physical mishaps filming this episode. Nicola Coughlan had a particularly rough time.
She did. The shoes were a nightmare for her. She apparently fell 3 times on her very first day of filming the ball scenes.
Well, no.
Just wiped out. And she stabbed someone.
She stabbed someone.
She did. She stabbed Claudia Jessie, who plays Eloise, right in the hand with a heel. Actually drew blood.
That is somehow very on brand for the Penelope and Eloise dynamic, though. Little chaotic energy.
It led to a total ban on the specific heels for her. They had to give her different shoes. But it speaks to the physicality of the acting. You're trying to deliver these witty lines while wearing a cage on your ribs and balancing on stilettos that are essentially weapons.
And for the production team, the challenge was logistical. We see so many balls in this show, it feels like there's a different one every night.
We do. And in this episode specifically, they utilized a location called Lee Court. But here's the trick. That one location had to double for 3 different balls.
Wait, really? So when they walk through a door, they're just walking into the same room dressed differently?
Essentially, yes. They created a backlot feel. They would shoot one direction for, say, the ingenue ball. Then the art department would come in, redress the room, they'd turn the camera around, and shoot the crystal ball in the same space.
Wow.
It was a maze of social events all crammed into one physical location.
That explains why the social season feels so suffocatingly tight. Because it literally is the same room, just with different flowers.
It adds to that sense of the fishbowl of society. Everyone is trapped in the same spaces, seeing the same people, judged by the same eyes, over and over again.
Speaking of judgment, let's talk about the fans, because the reaction to this episode was intense.
This was the moment the show went from interesting period drama to global obsession.
And a lot of it started with the spoon.
The spoon licking, a viral moment. It became a symbol of the show's commitment to female desire. It was the production telling the audience, we see you, we know what you want to see.
And the hand touch in the gallery.
The Reddit analysis on this is deep. People wrote essays. Fans compare it to Pride and Prejudice constantly.
As we did.
As we did. It's about the intimacy of the non-touch. In a show that eventually gives us very explicit scenes, these moments of restraint are often cited by fans as the most romantic, the most charged.
And then there's the sheer satisfaction of the drop.
Oh, seeing Cressida Cowper's face fall. It's pure joy.
It's the nice job fixing it villain trope. Cressida tries to sabotage Daphne by spilling the drink on her, but her cruelty actually pushes Daphne directly toward the prince.
Fans love a moment where the bully inadvertently helps the hero. It's incredibly satisfying narrative justice. It validates Daphne's victory over her rival.
We also have to mention the fans' love for Benedict and Eloise in this episode.
The smoking scene on the swings.
It's such a great, quiet sibling moment in the middle of all the chaos.
Fans absolutely love it because it questions the gender roles we've been discussing all this time. Eloise asks, if I were a man, I could attend university. She is voicing the modern audience's frustration with the world.
And Benedict listens. He doesn't dismiss her.
He listens. It's a bond that stands outside the marriage mart badness. They're on a different wavelength.
So bringing it all together, this episode is fun, it's sexy, it's got great costumes, fantastic music choices. But what is the big question it leaves us with at the end?
I think the central thematic question here, the one you're supposed to be thinking about when the credits roll, is this. Is performative femininity a trap or is it a tool?
Ooh, say more about that.
Well, the episode presents two views of womanhood. We have the horse, the passive property to be negotiated, as Burbrook sees it.
Right.
And we have the actress, which is Daphne dropping the fan.
So Daphne proves she can master the game. She can do the swoon, she can do the entrance, she can play the part.
She creates her own value in a market that deems her worthless without a husband. She takes the tools of her oppression, the fan, the fainting, the perfect dress, and she uses them to capture a prince. It's a power move.
But there's a but.
But the lingering thought is the cost. She wins the prince's attention. She wins the season. But she is performing. She is acting the part of the perfect diamond. And the one person she truly wants to be real with, Simon, is watching her from the sidelines.
So she wins the battle, but she's losing the war for her own happiness.
It creates this tragedy within the triumph. She is the perfect diamond, yes, but a diamond is cold and hard and flawless. She wants to be a person loved for who she is, not for the part she plays.
That is a fascinating place to leave it. She's more powerful than ever, but she's also more trapped than ever.
And that tension is what propels the rest of the season.
Well, there you have it. The art of the swoon. A lot more than just fainting on cue.
It's survival.
That was today's deep dive.
Same story.
New layers.
This is Pink Blade.